Hello, I'm Gary Biggs with Infiniti Mobile Systems, and I'm here to talk to you about upgrading your factory system. If you really want your music to sound good, the first thing you ought to do is upgrade your speakers. Dollar for dollar, it's the very best way to enhance your music and to make your car audio system sound better. If you'll notice, the factory speaker is often just one speaker. Sometimes there's a separate tweeter, but generally the mid-range is always a paper cone with a surround made of foam. Both of these materials will deteriorate in just a short period of time. You also notice that generally the basket is made of plastic. The plastic will distort and warp when it's mounted in the door, as well as you'll notice that the magnet or motor structure is very small. It just simply doesn't handle very much power. You also know it's very lightweight. It's just a very inferior product. One of the advantages in upgrading to the Infiniti speakers is we do not use a paper cone. In this case, the reference series use a polypropylene cone and also a butyl rubber surround. Both of these materials work together very harmoniously and don't deteriorate. They'll last a very long time. Another thing you'll notice is the basket is a stamped metal, so it's very durable, very strong. The motor structure, the magnet, is very large, will handle lots of power. The speaker will produce lots of mid-range, lots of bass, and be very pleasing and sound great. You can upgrade to a multi-element design that has the tweeter coaxial mounted with the speaker, or in this case you can do the component series, which is the separate mid-range with a separate tweeter. One of the advantages of upgrading your system to a component set is with our tweeter design, we use a edge-driven 1-inch dome tweeter. The advantage of that is the tweeter is a full 1 inch in diameter, which means it's basically has a larger voice coil, will handle more power, play lower, so you'll have a lot better sounding highs. It blends with the mid-range better, so the two speakers work together better, so you'll just have a great blend in the mid-range to the high transition. Another advantage is we have an outboard two-way crossover. The advantage of the crossover is it sends all the proper signals to the tweeter so that it produces just crisp, clean highs. It sends all the proper frequencies to the mid-range so that it produces great mid-range, extends down, and plays some nice bass. You also have a 0 dB or plus 3 dB switch so that you can basically tune the loudness of the tweeter depending on where you mount it in the car, whether it's low on the door or high on the door. The installer can simply flip this switch and custom tailor the sound of the tweeter to your vehicle. With a lot of today's cars, you'll notice that the speakers that are mounted have a special proprietary mounting application. So when you just go to install a new speaker, it won't always fit. So one of the things at Infiniti that we offer is we offer installation brackets. We call this the Intermount 3 system, which basically would allow for the speaker to be mounted in almost any vehicle. For example, if this was the door, the metal factory door of a vehicle, and if this speaker came out, this speaker would not fit back in properly. So we offer the brackets that will go on here and mount so that you can attach it to the vehicle, and now our new speaker fits perfectly into the hole. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is show you that if you had your factory door panel removed, you're going to have a mounting location in your door. A lot of times the factory speaker is made in a way that it clips into place with only maybe one screw that actually holds the speaker into the car. So our new upgraded speaker won't always fit properly. So you simply take one of the brackets that we supply from the Intermount 3 kit, and it just simply attaches to the vehicle. Then this basically allows a perfect mounting foundation for our new aftermarket Infiniti speaker. So that's what I'll demonstrate now, is the mounting of the speaker. Now you can see that the bracket is mounted securely to the vehicle. We got several mounting points. Now you also notice that there are several locations in which we can secure our new speaker. So the next step is to install the Infiniti speaker. They're real easily using the supplied bracket. Our new Infiniti speaker was easily installed. If you'll notice, the factory speaker's cone is not nearly as wide as our new aftermarket speaker's cone. Basically, this is a technology that we've developed called +1 technology. The outer diameter of the surround and the inner diameter of the surround is much larger than the factory speaker or any other speaker on the market. This allows for a larger outer diameter of the cone of the speaker. The larger cone allows for lower frequency reproduction, meaning this speaker is going to make more bass. It's going to have better mid, and it's just going to offer overall better sound quality altogether. This is an easy thing to see. You could take anything as simple as any measuring device, such as this screwdriver, and you can see how much larger our speaker's cone is. This translates to better bass and better overall sound quality. Okay, so now we'll talk about installing the Infiniti reference component tweeter. There's many ways of installing the tweeter, and it all depends on your vehicle and how your factory door panel or dash is already equipped. The speaker can be surface mounted onto the door panel or the dash panel. It can be flush mounted, meaning that there's a hole necessary in order to sync the tweeter flush so it's flush with your door panel. As well as, in some cases, there's already a factory tweeter in the vehicle, and so therefore we supply a bracket that would allow easy installation into a factory hole location. So the first thing we'll talk about is if we were going to surface mount the tweeter. So we offer this tweeter installation cup. It's real simple. It just simply mounts directly to the panel. And now you can see our new tweeter would simply just plug right into the cup, and the installation would be that easy and complete. Another way is if you wanted to surface mount the tweeter. If you did not want the tweeter sticking up, then we offer a flush mounting cup. The flush mounting cup would simply, once a hole is created, the flush mounting cup goes into the door panel. We supply the installation nut for the back side that allows you to securely mount and tighten it to the vehicle. And now you can see the tweeter is easily flush mounted into the vehicle. What's unique to the tweeter mounting that we offer is the unipivot technology, allowing the tweeter to pivot up and down up to 30 degrees once it's installed into the vehicle. This allows for pointing of the sound and so that you can enhance the imaging of the speakers in your vehicle. Another possible way is if your vehicle already has a small speaker location for like a 2-inch or 3-inch speaker, or maybe even possibly already has a factory existing tweeter. We offer this bracket, which is called the Starfish Adapter. It's also part of the Intermount 3 mounting hardware, and it simply can be loaded in from the top so that now the speaker can load and it's flush, and then your door panel would go back on and secure it and hide the speaker. As well as it's possible for this to mount on the other side. If this was the actual door panel, you can mount it here and also install the tweeter, and then it would hide it and put it back in the OEM location. So you can see we've offered several ways of installing the Infiniti component tweeter. I'm Gary Biggs from Infiniti Mobile Systems, the #1 aftermarket car audio speaker, and this is how we allow you to make your music sound the very best that it can.